enter his house. As I have mentioned many times before, we only let those that we like into our house. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared these masajid has affiliated these places as His own, as the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the greatest ibadah of Islam, the greatest worship of Islam takes place here. So if you think about it, the first and foremost requirement from us as Muslims is to have a belief in our heart and on our tongues of the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of everything, in terms of worship, in terms of respect, in terms of love, all of those things. We love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like we love no one else. At least we say that from our tongues. At least we consciously believe in that. Similarly, we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and associate no partners in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the aqaid, all the beliefs that are in our hearts and in our minds. But the first thing that becomes an expression of our Islam, that tells the world that we are Muslim, that shows the world that we are Muslim. Some mashayikh give an analogy that everything has a spirit and a body. So the spirit of Islam is its aqaid. Those things that are invisible, but they are there, without which nothing is important, nothing is valuable. So without a spirit, a human being is called a dead body. But when it comes to something that is physically visible, something that people can see, it is Salah. Therefore, it is said that Salah is the body of Islam. Salah is the body of Islam. It is the first and foremost of all ibadat. Something that nobody is ever allowed to give up. Nobody is ever allowed to give up as long as they are living. The only exception is that when someone is unconscious. Someone is unconscious. So simply they don't know what's going on. They are medically not able that they even can open their eyes or know what's going on around. Otherwise, if somebody is so sick that they cannot get up from their bed, they have to pray on their bed. I'm trying to explain why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Salah such an important thing, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want us to ever give up. Because it is the first and the foremost physical expression of our Islam. And the truth of the matter is that a'mal, the physical deeds that we do, they are, yes, an expression of our Iman, but if the expression goes away, the reality slowly and gradually also goes away. So if Muslims stop praying Salah, which is the key of the expressions of Islam, one of the key things that expresses Islam, of course Siyam, Hajj, Zakah, all of those come at their own time. But Salah is something that's there all the time. If Muslims give up that expression, that very key expression, then slowly and gradually the belief is also going to go away. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu is a famous Sahabi of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, he addressed the Sahaba after the passing away of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was not there. He said that, "O people, if you should make it a point to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to offer your salah and offer it in a place where adhan is called. If you give that up, you are going to give up the right way that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told you about. Sunan Huda, the best of the ways that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prescribed. And if you give that up, slowly and gradually, you are going to lose your Iman. And he said that in our times, in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the condition was such that even the general munafiqeen, the general hypocrites, those about whom it was said that they were just making the face of Islam, they did not have any reality of Islam in their heart, and they were, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran that when they stand for salah, they only stand for showing off. They don't have anything in their heart. Even such people would come for every salah and stand in the first row, even for Fajr and Isha, which is very hard for people. Such munafiqeen would come. The only people that would not come to masjid were those who were openly munafiq. Everybody knew about them openly that these people are hypocrites. So they didn't care to come to the masjid. Otherwise, everyone would be there. Everyone would be there. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu anhu has said that if somebody was able to be dragged to the masjid, they would be dragged to the masjid and come into the masjid and pray. So my dear respected brothers, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. This is one of the last frontiers of Islam. One of the last frontiers of Islam. Like we said last week, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that three things are also counted as if somebody is guarding the frontiers of Islam. One of them is making complete and perfect wuzu at a time of hardship. When it is hard, cold weather. Making complete, perfect wuzu at a time of hardship. Putting a lot of steps towards the masjid. Frequent steps towards the masjid. And to come to the masjid, pray one salah and be in anticipation for the next salah. Wait for the next salah. These things are counted as guarding the frontiers of Islam by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So salah is one of the last frontiers that we are fighting at. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in Iman and the expression of Iman. But if salah goes away from the ummah, collectively, if salah goes away from the ummah, then my dear respected brothers, the last frontier has also fallen. The last frontier of Iman has also fallen. Now the attack is directly on what is in the heart, which is the kalima tayyiba la ilaha illallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the importance of establishing salah. Wherever in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said aqimus salah, establish salah, establish salah. Hazrat ulama mufassirin have explained it and the Sahaba have explained it that aqimus salah, establish salah means, if I put it in today's language, make salah your lifestyle. Make salah your lifestyle. What does that mean? Your 24 hours should be revolving around salah. Your 24 hours should be revolving around salah. So your daily schedule should be, our daily schedule should be such that I will pray this salah, then I will do such and such thing, then I will come back for such salah, then I will do such and such thing, then I'll be back in the masjid for such salah. The things that the Prophet ﷺ has explained that relieve us of the duty of coming to the masjid, of praying in the masjid, are extreme sickness. Although the action of the Prophet ﷺ was that in his last days when he was very sick and he had to lean on the shoulder of one or two Sahaba, he would still come to the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ would lead the salah in that state as well. In fact, it comes in narrations that he was leading the salah when his health became deteriorated so much that he could not even lead salah. So these things we have all heard, but have we thought about what is it hinting at? What is it telling us? The Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is ma'soom, he has never committed a sin. He has never committed a sin. And he has been forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has been shown the Jannah and his place in Jannah. He is doing that. He is doing that. Imagine our state. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala improve our state. The first thing to do is to realize the problem, to identify the problem, and then inshallah make efforts on our end and also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for improving our state. My Shaykh, my teacher, Dr. Abdul Hisab Arifi rahimahullah, several of his lectures focus on this, that everyone, you pick anybody up, you look at your own life or you pick anyone up and ask them, do they have any problems? Everybody will have multiple problems that they can mention right away. They can mention right away. I have this going on in my life, I have this, that's not working out the way I want to work it out. Hazrat used to say that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and apparently your dua is not accepted. You do not get what you want. Hazrat said that think about what are you doing wrong. Think about what are you doing wrong. The principle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this world and integrated this into this system of this world, that if somebody obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah gives them peace in their life. And if somebody disobeys, it is the inherent capacity of disobedience to take your peace away. To take your peace away. So if you are not obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are not following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are being cruel to your own self. And you are being, and it's a stupid thing to do, that you do not follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and expect Allah to listen to you. Expect Allah to make ease for you. And the reality is, it is our belief that there is no one that can give us a relief apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my dear respected brothers, the reason for all the troubles in our life is that we have turned away from the commands and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such Rahim, such Ghafoor, that even with our constant disobedience, He has given us baseline comfort. The reason why we feel discomfort so much is because we have so much comfort to begin with. So anything that goes wrong, even a tiny thing goes wrong, we feel it a lot. If we were living a life of 100% trouble, then comfort would stand out. But because we are living a life of total comfort, even the tiniest discomforts stand out. So it is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does this to anyone, that even with disobedience, He gives. And He becomes pleased to give. But what is our responsibility in return? My dear respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this whole world, this whole life, a constant struggle. A constant struggle. It is a constant struggle to bring yourself to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anybody who is expecting a reward of what they are doing, a complete reward of what they are doing, here they are wrong and they are stupid. Because they are expecting a reward in a much smaller and much temporary place, and they are giving up the reward of a permanent place, a bigger reward of a permanent place. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding that these little mujahadat, these little struggles, these little efforts that we make by getting up at the time of Fajr, making wuzu, coming to the masjid, by extending maybe our work hours but taking a lunch hour to come for Zuhr, by getting out when everybody has tucked in for the night and we are feeling comfy and cozy at our homes, we come for Isha. These things are very minor compared to the rewards that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give to us for these little efforts that we are doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding. Wa jazakallahu khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Brothers who have prayed the sunnah can do sunnah. Jazakallah.